I'm going to start with my grandparents because they were Franklin Delano Roosevelt Democrats. My parents, on the other hand, were Dwight D. Eisenhower Republicans. When I was very young, and I was the oldest of a series of four kids in my immediate family, we would go to my grandparents every Sunday for dinner. And at some point, I got to sit at the big people's table. Usually the kids all sat in the next room at a little card table. But
Yes.
when I joined those conversations, it became apparent to me that each of those entities, my grandparents and my parents, although they came from different political backgrounds, they had one thing that was clearly in common. They devoted a lot of energies to their respective communities. And I really admired that in them. I wanted to become something like them. And it wasn't political, it was a discussion about we are lucky enough to be able to sit around a table with food. We have a church that we all go to that is forming our guiding beliefs. We have a community in both the church, and in my case, it was a Catholic school that was associated with the church. And I was very proud to be part of all of that. And the service to the community that was uh, imbued in us was something that I really appreciated.
Democratic Senator McCormick and Republican Senator Joe Benning disagree on many issues, but they agree that students need to be taught about the Constitution and American government.
Learning how to speak to each other from the place where we all have a common understanding on how we have government. Really an incredible move at this point in time, desperately necessary.
I'm sure every Vermonter going through school had a real, sincere understanding of the history of this state, what we were formed for, what our intentions were, why we want to preserve things like a constitution, what is important about how to live as a society. If I had a magic wand, I would not just bring kids to the State House in fourth grade. They'd be there in every grade to ask different questions at different times, just to get to know the civic process, to teach all of the kids growing up today that we can have disagreements with each other, but it is critical that we not put each other down. In order to survive as a society, we can't be polarized. We have to be able to talk to each other. And I may be very opinionated in the things that I talk about, but I've never hesitated to step back and say, listen, Benning, listen to what other people are saying, because possibly the remarks that you're making should be changed to some extent. If your viewpoint should be changed for the betterment of all. Those are the things I'd like to see in a magic wand.
Personally, it would be a sad day if we ever got to a point where we had to literally put the State House on lockdown. I see that building as the people's house. And just because there are crazy people in the world, I don't want to see us overreacting. If we're going to get to the point where Martin Luther King was saying, we got to stop looking at each other as the enemy somehow and figure out a way to just end up as Americans.